Thom in St. Paul, Minnesota. You are on the air with Senator Sanders.
Okay, hi. Senator Sanders, great to speak with you. I wanted to ask you a question and get your take. And the question's regarding messaging, packaging, and framing the debate. I saw you on George Stephanopoulos' show, and of course the corporate media immediately is trying to tag you with the awful word socialist, because Americans, they understand the ignorance of the American public. They don't understand that word. And I'd like to get your take on what you can do to change this into being an American message.
Good.
And what I want to say to you is, when they ask you, Bernie, are you a socialist? What you can do is say, well, they called FDR a socialist, and his New Deal progressive policies rescued us from the Republican Great Depression, and he's now ranked next to Lincoln as one of our greatest American presidents. And then you could say, I'm an FDR liberal, and if that means I'm a socialist, and I stand proudly next to one of our great American leaders, FDR. Next question, Mr. Stephanopoulos.
Well, Thom, let me take it a bit further. And I didn't think that Stephanopoulos was attempting to be unfair. Because if people say, are you a Democratic Socialist? I say, yes, I do. And then the question is, and I happen to think FDR, as you've indicated, Thom, was a very great American president who led this country out of the worst depression that we've ever had, with a whole lot of innovative programs that are still in existence, and many of which our Republican friends want to repeal today. But also, we have to ask ourselves, what does it mean to be a Democratic Socialist? What is that about? And what I do is look at countries around the world, often countries like Denmark, Norway, Finland, Scandinavia, Germany occasionally. And what I say is, look, the United States and our country, we do a lot of very good things. But you got to be really dumb not to look around the world to take advantage of what other countries do better than we do. Other countries should look to us to see what we do well. And when I look at social democratic countries which have had labor governments, social democratic governments, democratic socialist governments, this is what I see. I see in every major country on earth, not just Scandinavia, healthcare is a right of all people. It's no longer a debate. The conservative parties in Denmark and Sweden, no one argues that healthcare is a right. All people have healthcare. And it turns out that in virtually all other countries, their healthcare system is not just universal, it is much more cost-effective than our system, whose primary function is to enable the private insurance companies and the drug companies to make enormous profits. So you want to call me a Democratic Socialist because I believe that health care is a right and that it is absurd for the United States of America to be spending almost double what any other country on earth spends per person. Fine, call me a socialist. I accept it. Next issue. What is more fundamental and important for a nation than education? Education is what we do as human beings. Hopefully all of us try to learn and learn until the day that we die. It's part of what being human is about. We'll continue that discussion after the break.
Okay. Senator Sanders, Thom from Minnesota just called and suggested that when asked about being a Democratic Socialist, instead of invoking Sweden, perhaps you should invoke FDR. You were talking about
this.
I
think, I happen to think that FDR was one of the great presidents of our country, but I also think that it is absolutely imperative that we look around the world and we see what other countries do better than we did. And I was mentioning that in terms of healthcare, we have essentially a dysfunctional system. We're the only major country on earth without a national healthcare system. But it's not just healthcare as a right. You look at education in a highly competitive global economy. The idea that the United States is slipping further and further behind other countries in terms of the percentage of our people who have college degrees is absurd, is wrong. So if you look at countries like Germany and, again, Scandinavia, Austria, other countries, Thom, do you know how much they charge for tuition in their public colleges and universities?
I know in Denmark they actually pay you to go to college. We had a caller from Denmark last week, and he said he got $900 a month.
Right. So the point is this good public policy? Well, you know what? In America today, you have large numbers of lower income and working class families where their young people are bright, they're eager, they want to go to college, but they are saying, I'm not going to go to college and come out $50,000, $80,000 in debt. Not going to do it. So we lose all of the intellectual potential of those young people in a highly competitive global economy where we need the best educated workforce. Does that make any sense? I don't think so. So yes, if democratic socialism means that every person in this country should be able to get a higher education regardless of the income of their family, yeah, I'm a democratic socialist. I think it makes a lot more sense to be investing in our young people, or all working people, by the way, so they can get the education they need rather than giving tax breaks to billionaires. People want to criticize me for that? Go for it. That's fine. I accept it. That's what I believe. I believe that it is totally crazy when every psychologist in this world understands that the most formative years of a human being's life are 0 to 4. And yet today in this country, where we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of any major country, working class parents all over America finding it almost impossible to acquire good quality, affordable child care. So again, call me a democratic socialist. I believe that all of our young people deserve high quality child care, that we need to pay child care workers a living wage, that they need to have the education and the training that should be requisite in order to take care of the young kids, the very youngest kids in this country. That's a crime, fine. It's a crime. That's what I believe. Call that democratic socialism.